So now Steve Bannon says that Pope Leo being elected was rigged. Yeah, folks, he actually believes that they rigged all this to bring out Pope Leo because he's anti Trump. And someone with his Twitter feed should have never been considered for the Pope because he said racism should be ended. He said hate and violence should come to an end. We can't have that in MAGA land. Steve Bannon is smart enough to know that if his audience was ever educated, truthfully, and if racism and hatred and violence was eradicated from the world, he's got no audience. So Steve Bannon is not necessarily a stupid man. He knows how to work the crowd. He knows how to keep the crowd coming back, and he knows he can never hold his audience to any account because they're not capable of being held to any account. So the game is rigged against you. Whatever goes wrong in our lives, whoever criticizes you, it was rigged against you. And he does that to give them a soft landing place, to pad their ego. Well, I'm here to pop that bubble and send them hurtling back to reality. Shout out to my favorite comedian, Bill Hicks. But let's watch this clip. Let's watch this clip of Steve Bannon speaking to his delusional audience. Take a look.
We had a monastery that we actually owned before the government took it away from us to be kind of a counter to what was going on in the Vatican. So we have a broad network of the traditionalists. And Prevost, and I'm saying this, the conclave for the Pope was more rigged than the 2020 election. Now, why do I say, let me back it up with some facts. On Piers Morgan's show, 10 days before the conclave started, I called. I said, Prevost is the dark horse. He wasn't in any betting pool. If you look at Italian TV, nowhere. The reason is not only is he's only been a cardinal less than 2 years, and it only took 3 ballots, folks. It took 1 day. They had 1 vote late in the afternoon. Next day, he came back. It is impossible. And the Daily Mail reports he talked to his brother the 2 days before the conclave, and they were talking about picking Leo. He wanted to pick Leo, but he thought it might be the 13th, and then they figured out it was the 14th. How would you talk to your brother about that? This was totally rigged by the Curia to be both anti-Trump and to drive. We're going to have a schism in the church because the traditional Catholics are not going to go along with the continuation of Bergoglio.
Okay. Did you notice how the crowd burst out laughing? And even Steve Bannon is having a hard time holding a straight face saying that because he knows it's bullshit, but he also knows he has to speak to his base. He has to keep the hatred flowing. He has to keep the racism flowing. He has to keep the bigotry on tap. He's got to keep all that going, and he's got to make them believe that anything that's ever spoken against Donald Trump in any way, shape, form, or fashion has to be rigged. So I won't say that he's delusional, but what I will say is that he is capitalizing on delusional people, and he knows how to work his crowd. Steve Bannon will go out there and he will say things like, we're working on getting Trump a 3rd term. And my argument to that is we don't ever need to normalize that type of language. But Steve Bannon is smart enough to know that can't happen, but he's going to go ahead and say it to get people like us talking, to test the waters, to see how far people will go. And I really believe that he is a guy who is put there to test those waters and see, okay, how far can we go with this? And I guarantee you, he comes back from time to time, looks at the comment sections, looks at what people are saying, listens to, reads the emails that he's getting, and he sits back and goes, hey, this is working. We can make this guy. We can make this guy be a dictator for life, and they would be okay with it. So I think that this type of rhetoric, while he's trying to entertain his crowd and he's trying to work the crowd to his advantage, I still believe that this type of rhetoric from Steve Bannon is very dangerous. And I think it's one that needs to be shouted down at all turns. And I think it's one that doesn't need to be platformed or normalized. I think when you sit down with a guy like that, you're giving him credibility. And I don't think he really truly has any, other than he is an influence in MAGA. But he's influencing them for all the wrong reasons. This isn't normal political times that we're in, folks. There was a time when you could sit down, you could talk with a Republican strategist, a Democratic strategist. I remember back in the day when you would, have James Carville on one side, and back when I was a teenager, have, Karl Rove on the other. They could sit there and go back and forth with each other. That was a different time and a different place. What Steve Bannon is pushing is a very dangerous, hateful style of rhetoric, and one that leads to violence and has led to violence in the past. We saw what happened on January 6th, and you can sit and say things like, well, people find him interesting, or they won, so that must mean that we need to go over here and talk to this guy or listen to what he has to say. No, just because they won an election does not make them right. Just because they got enough people to be stupid enough to vote against their interest, enough rich people to vote for their interest, and then just muddy the water and flood the zone to where a whole lot of people just stayed home and gave up. And that's what's happened. A lot of people has gave up on the system. And to the more uneducated, delusional bunch, they gravitate towards someone like a Steve Bannon. That's why it's very important for us to stay on point, talk about what it is that we believe in a way that's easy and simple to understand. Don't get all hung up in the weeds over here trying to explain things in a way where people feels like they have to read the manual to understand what you're saying. You'll lose the audience. I'm not a fan of Steve Bannon. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But the reason why they connect with their crowd is because they just speak in a plain way that just, even though I know it's bullshit, I know what you're thinking, but it's lies, Brando. I know it is. It's absolute insanity. It's bullshit. It's all of the above. But they speak in a way that they just sound like the old guy down at the loading dock. They sound like the forklift driver driving around that's bitching and moaning about his life. And they resonate with those kind of people. What we have to do is bring it down to the level and not get too far pointing at charts and graphs and doing numbers and statistics. When I see Democratic strategists talking points and statistics and Section 3, Part 5, it's like, no, listen, you're losing people. Come in and say to them, do you want to be able to put food on your table? Do you want to be able to take care of yourself or your loved ones if they or you get sick? We want to be the ones to help you with that. We want to be the ones that make sure you get paid a living wage. We want to make sure that you don't get walked all over top of by your bosses and your corporations. We want to make sure that you have a fair shake in this world. We want to make sure that you have health care, that you don't have to sit and worry about going bankrupt. And we're not going to go in there. We're not going to fix the Affordable Care Act. We're going to admit that health care is still unaffordable for a whole lot of people, and therefore we're going to start over and we're going to get universal health care for everyone. And yeah, your tax dollars are going to pay for it. But where would you rather your tax dollars go? Would you rather it go to help Mama with her operation, or would you rather it go to to some war that you say you disagree with? Would you want to see it go to the top? You want to see Elon get a break? That guy deserves a break, and your Mama don't. That's how you got to talk. Your dad goes to work every day, puts food on your table, busted his balls his entire life to feed you. Do you want him to have a break in this world, or do you want Elon to get pampered some more? Which one do you want it to be? These people don't care about you. They wouldn't wipe their nose on your Sunday best. They wouldn't let you park your car outside their house. They look down on you. They mock you. They use you. They grift you. They sell you a line of conspiracy theories and bullshit so that they can manipulate you. They demonize the people who are coming after you to help you. Stop biting the people that are trying to help and realize that we're not over here trying to flex to own you. That's not what we're about. We're not over here, I want to flex and own these conservatives. Watch me flex. No, we're over here talking about the issues. We're talking about people being paid a living wage. We're talking about people being taken care of if they're sick. We're talking about women having control over their own bodies and making their own medical decisions without anyone except them or their doctor in the fucking room. So to anyone that says, well, kick it to the states. No form of government should be in a woman's doctor's office. No form of it. No other person, not the guy down the street. I don't care if the whole town gets together and votes and says, we don't think that she should. They don't even have a right to bring that to a vote. It's not your life. Live and let live. Let other people live their life. Let them make their own choices. Don't judge it. Go on with your life, because you're sitting there struggling just like they are to put food on your table. And you're sitting there listening to people who are absolutely laughing all the way to the bank. And they're sitting there, and yeah, Steve Bannon is a great strategist, but he's a great strategist on how to grift and how to lie and how to steal and how to cheat and how to convince people that what he's saying is the truth when it's not. He got a whole lot of people worked up, him and Trump both. They went to the Capitol and made fools of themselves, desecrated our Capitol. It's unforgivable to me. Don't give that guy, oh yeah, okay, yes, you are a strategist. You got that one, pal, but you're a despicable human being who has shit on the American dream, shit on the Constitution, shit on everything that was ever sacred. Stop normalizing these people and going, well, they won an election, so let's sit down and chat with them for a while. All that says to me when I see Bill Maher sitting and talking with someone like that, Bill Maher would have talked with Hitler if Hitler had have survived. He would have talked to Hitler's henchmen. That's what he told us. Fuck that guy. It's a matter of just speaking clearly to where people can understand it and being truthful and coming straight forward with it and letting people know that we're not out to get you, okay? I don't want to own you in the comment section. I don't want to own you with this video. I don't want to flex at you. I want to see you do good in this world. I want to see you have a better way. I want to see you stop sticking your dick in a blender, okay? God, like I know that here lately in my videos, you may be going, Brando's dropping more F-bombs. Brando's kind of getting out there and saying some pretty crazy off the wall shit. It's because day in and day out, I wake up hoping for some sanity. And it just keeps getting more insane. And yeah, man, if they voted for the new Pope, that must have been rigged. He's anti-Trump. Go look at his Twitter feed, man. Can you believe the radical woke shit he said? Okay, well, if you had a problem with the Pope's Twitter feed, pull out one of these and turn those words in red. Just flip till you find them. Start reading those words in red, and I promise you, yeah, you wouldn't like that guy either. It's ridiculous, folks. It truly is. But I appreciate you for standing with me, and I appreciate you for being here on the channel. We're cruising toward 800,000 subscribers. We're going to get to 1 million before the end of the year. I know we can. I appreciate y'all so much for your support. We're doing some cool stuff over on my Patreon. It's linked in the description of this video. Check it out. Try it on for size if you can afford it. If not, I totally understand. I'm not here trying to grift. I'm not here trying to sell you sneakers. I'm not here trying to sell you a Bible with my signature. As a matter of fact, if you walked up to me with a Bible and asked me to sign it, I would say no. Okay? And if you walked up to me with an American flag and said sign it and put it on and wear it as a cloak, I'd say no. Okay? So that's not what I'm about. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to get through this. We're going to come out the other side, and we are going to make sure that the Steve Bannons and the Donald Trumps of the world belong on the wrong side of history, right alongside everyone else that is. We'll make sure when this history books are written, they're right over there with the Benedict Arnolds of the world where they belong.